All right, we're on. Give me a thumbs up when we're official. All right. Thanks everyone for coming to our first quarterly meeting of the new school year. We have a packed crowd here at the auditorium in the IU administration building, so we thank everyone who bought very high priced tickets to get good seats down here, especially Anne-Marie as well as Lynn. So thanks again for coming physically. And we know that we have a lot of people out in internet land watching us as well, so we're really happy that you joined us and they're taking some of the time. We are going to be videotaping this session, so then folks can watch this thereafter. There's a lot of information that you probably have heard already, and so some of these things will be abridged versions of things that we've already talked about, either through administrative team meetings, your program meetings, opening day sessions, and things like that. But I still thought it was important just to give an opportunity for everyone to come together, you know, in a quarterly setting. We are using Zoom, which is a technology that we use for meetings. It does have a chat function already embedded into it, so that therefore we don't need a separate chat thing that we had used the last 2 years. So this kind of has it already within it. Now, we may have some folks that have joined us by phone, but it doesn't look like anyone has. But just for the future, you're more than welcome to join these meetings via the phone, and then you dial that number and then enter in the meeting ID, and then it connects you audio. But the thing with that is you can't chat as a result, but you can still, you know, answer questions, ask questions, and then what I'll have to do is kind of unmute people, I guess, for that type of function to be able to do that. So I'll start us off today, and then we'll go through the different divisions. As I wrote in the opening message, and hopefully everyone had a chance to review that email as well as the video, we want to welcome you back again for another great start of the year. We're really looking forward to this year having a celebration in Service Day at the end of the year, that being on June 8th, tentatively scheduled depending on weather for June 8th. And so we know that we had successful openings with school age as well as early intervention this past week, and we've had several other meetings with other folks throughout the last week or two to give information. So again, just want to thank everyone for coming back and starting a great new year. It's always important too to remind ourselves of what our goals are as an organization. The first goal, again, as an organization is that we want to be the premier leading experts when it comes to being student, curriculum, technology, infrastructure, financial, as well as executive services. We want to be the go-to organization in the county when folks are looking for information. So that's our first goal. Second goal is to be state-level players for state-level initiatives. We want to be involved at the state level because our districts and kids will benefit as a result of our involvement at the state level. And then thirdly, we want to be a purposeful and entrepreneurial enterprise for educational student opportunities. So we want to create programs that are going to be sustained and provide as many opportunities for kids as possible. And so I know Joe as well as Tim have some exciting updates to the programs that they're offering that goes right in line with goal number 3. We have just tweaked that goal number 1 briefly, and so we've sent out another version of it for you then to print out and post. Here at the administrative building, Christy right now is going to be going around and giving you an orange version and taking down the blue version. So then that way orange very obnoxiously will be seen all throughout the building, so you can't miss what our goals are as an organization. And those who are out in the field, we do ask you as well if you can print those out and put them near your workstation, so we're always reminded of what the organization goals are there. Next, wanted to just share that we have had some changes in personnel due to the closure of alternative ed as well as the intensive therapeutic emotional support. It has reverberated throughout the organization in terms of Act 93, support staff, professional staff, classroom assistants. And so, and we've talked with many times with many different people about exactly what happened. And I'm not going to spend time doing that this session. But what you do need to know is we're going to be having an updated organizational chart that's going to come out in the very near future that again kind of shows where everyone's located and then the chain of command that that exists as a result. And as we continue to adapt to our district's needs, and that's as an organization, that's what we do. We adapt to what the district needs are and creating programs to then satisfy those needs. We just have to remember that every interaction, every email, every conversation in public, we are always advertising our services for our clients. And so we always want to put our best foot forward when it comes to interacting with our clients inside and outside of the school day, because they hear everything that we say and everywhere that we are at. And so we know that we will continue to strive to provide services for districts at a high quality and at a sustainable level as well. All right, so during my opening message, I also mentioned our partners, Cades Margolis, AFLAC, as well as the EAP. Again, we have services available for our personnel when it comes to 403B, financial planning, AFLAC, supplemental insurance, as well as the employee assistance program. We can't enough share that those are great resources that anyone in the organization that is in need, our partners can definitely step in and help. Also part of my report, I wanted to share that more and more people are beginning to download the mobile emergency response plan onto their computers as well as onto their phones. So we highly encourage everyone in the organization to then have access to that mobile emergency response plan. We've gone away from the paper copies being put on shelves and never looked at ever, where now we have them at our fingertips. And so if you look at that opening day message, you'll see how to access that. So again, we ask that you have that at your fingertips, either as a bookmark on your computer or on your phone if you choose to download it from there. Also, the employee portal is very important information there. A lot of people don't realize how much information is located there. And so during the opening message, I really concentrated on making sure that we're updating our personal contact or emergency contact within there, as well as then be aware of the employer forms that are located within the employee portal system. One in particular was workers' compensation. Over this next year, we want to improve our response to workers' compensation claims. And so we need your help with that. Then anytime you have an injury, it's really important that you fill out the incident report and then get that to Christy right now, or who's in charge or lead for workers' compensation. So no matter how insignificant you might think that injury might be, it's still really important to have an incident report in case things bubble up later, 2, 3, 4 months later, stemming back from an injury that you had during working hours. So again, just make sure that you check that out. And there's also a lot of great information on the portal for you to access, from payroll to pay dates, pay cutoffs, how to get your W-2s, how to make tax changes if you want to go from married in 4 to married in 8. You can do all of that stuff, right in the portal, and it's really at your fingertips with that. So just again, want to reemphasize for that. Also, I just wanted to share again that in terms of weather decisions, we are independent of any district from this point forward. We make our own independent weather decisions when it comes to closing of Clairview as well as partial hospitalization. So do not be dependent on any other district but the announcement that we make, on the news, on the major channels. Also, the administrative building, we never close unless there's a state of emergency. And so just know that we never close unless there's a state of emergency. And then if there's a state of emergency, then we'll be making the calls to folks that are impacted from that. All right. Construction-wise, as you can see, as many of you have been visiting the administrative building as well as Clairview, we've had some significant changes and future changes coming with Clairview. If you've noticed, a beautiful entryway that now matches color-wise. It really has changed the feel of that building when you come in. We also are working on the HVAC system. Very proud to say we now, for the first time, have a backup generator in case electric goes out, which is very important safety-wise that we felt was important to put in there. Similar things are happening here at the administrative building. A new roof, which is well needed based on the number of buckets that we're collecting water here whenever it rained. And so we should have a sealed tight building when it comes to rain. Also, new HVAC systems are coming in, as well as safety measure. We're reconfiguring the entryway for people to come in, and also then make it more safe for employees that work in the administrative building wing. So we're really excited about all the construction. I do want to shout out to Schneider Electric, who's the lead partner in all of this construction. They have been great, wonderful, and a pleasure to work with. So Schneider Electric is a true partner here of IU7. Last but not least, I talked about the quarterly meetings, which you're attending. If you're here, we really appreciate that you're here. And don't be afraid to share with others how great and informational it is. And then last but not least that I have, again, the celebration day. We're scheduling that tentatively for Friday, June 8th. The focus of that day is bringing us all together and truly celebrate all of the accomplishments that we've made over the course of the year, organized by the different divisions and successes that we have, and really end the year on a positive note. I think starting off the year like we did with the individual meetings by divisions, the opening days within student services has really, I think, worked out and really kind of helped focus exactly the beginning of the year instead of all this other administrivia, organizational information that I can handle in an email or an 18-minute video. So I think it's just the best use of everyone's time that we kind of went to the system and then really use that time all together to celebrate our accomplishments. So that ends my portion. Does anybody have any questions? We do have a packed auditorium here. So any questions from back there? No? Okay. So let's now go on to our division reports. Mr. Hamill, do you mind starting us off with curriculum services?
Absolutely. I guess we'll kick it off with our E-Academy program, which is in full gear already, up and running. Hard to believe it's in its 9th year of existence this year. In that time, has evolved and changed quite a bit, but continues to serve the districts well. This year, a couple of things that are, one of the biggest things is that our course catalog, our library of courses that are available to schools and students has grown considerably because we've partnered with another of our sister IUs, Capital Area, and have been able to bring their catalog to our catalog and essentially almost double what we have to offer, including a full line of advanced placement courses and some of the, I'll call them oddball courses that are a little harder to fill. They're available through this catalog. So we've really got a very well-rounded catalog to offer to our schools now. Not that we didn't offer what they needed before, it's just now they have more choices and they have more opportunities to take the things that they need. Whether that's the most advanced course or maybe a strange language course that not any of our schools really even offer in-house. So that's an exciting development for us. The other thing we're looking at is, I said we're 9 years old and our front door is looking a little shabby. And what I mean by that is everybody comes into our system through a system that's a little bit old and not quite giving them the information they need and not quite giving us the experience of being able to manage this large system as much as we need to. We had over 3,000 enrollments last year here in the Academy. So we're dealing with a lot of people coming in and out of systems, and what we want to do is rebuild the front door, so to speak, and make a better experience for all of our users as they come into the system. And for our school districts to be able to pull the data that they want on their students when they need it, and for us to track all of our inventory and all of our enrollments at a glance. So we're looking at several options there, and looking at what those systems look like, and also planning for making that change, because that's no small endeavor when you do that.
So Tim, of the 3,000 course offerings or course kids taking 3,000 courses, how many different students is that?
About 600 students.
So 600 students. So if we add that to Joe's 1,500 students, we're serving well over 2,000 students in the county.
Right.
So I mean, that's a huge number that most people don't realize as an IU that we serve.
Absolutely. So yeah, it does contribute quite a bit to that number. And we're already seeing this year, Anna Maria, I think, could tell you, the equipment's flying out the door. We actually had to purchase more equipment already this year to accommodate the influx at the start of the year. We never know who's going to enroll and when they're going to enroll, and it happens all year long. And I do mean all year long, right up into April and May of the school year. So we're excited, and we think it's going to be another big year there.
So that with that course catalog expansion, and we're calling that E-Academy Plus,
Right.
You know, with all the new advanced placement courses and the oddball courses that districts can't afford to hire teachers to do, the onesies. By what % did we increase our catalog from last year to this year?
It's probably close to twice as big as it was.
Wow.
Yeah, because we have other options that between the doubling up of courses where if we run out of room in a course that we offer, we have a limitation. We don't just cram as many students into an online course as we can. We limit numbers. So when we reach a certain number, we run out of an algebra course even, which we have a number of teachers teaching algebra. When we hit that maximum level, we have another place to go. It's kind of like an overflow.
So that goes right in line with goal 3, that entrepreneurial for educational opportunities for kids. That's meeting right in line with that goal then.
So going on, our ESL program, which actually we refer to now as EL, terminology's changing a little bit. English is a second language. It's now English language, English learners, excuse me. Kicking this year off, we're already almost double where we were last year with the number of students that we're serving. So we're doing a lot of work with our staff. Cindy Schaefer has been doing a lot of extra professional development this year with our staff, trying to get them to be very well versed in all the changes that have happened in the laws concerning EL, and there are many of them. ESSA brings a whole new bundle of requirements to us, so those things have to be carefully executed. And I guess as a testimony to the quality of what we're doing, a lot of our school districts are calling and asking questions. They're calling, even if they're not using our services for EL, there are people who are operating EL are calling us and asking questions regarding the program and what to do with it. So it's good to know that we're trusted in that and that we're able to offer good advice and good service as well in that program. Center ICE, which is constantly evolving and changing and new things happening, it's kind of exciting. This particular semester, we're actually housing a course for St. Vincent. Erin Sams, who's a new faculty member at St. Vincent, who's a nationally known author, one of the co-founders of Flipped Learning. I don't know if you've ever heard of the term Flipped Learning. He's actually going to be running a course in Center ICE this semester. So every Monday evening, we'll be occupied with about 20 students from St. Vincent, undergraduate education students. Course is called Science and the Environment for Early Learners, and they're going to be taking advantage of all of the innovative tools that are in Center ICE and hands-on makerspace components and things like that. So pretty excited about that partnership, and it's worked out well. We do a lot with St. Vincent now. We've built some really great programs. We're doing a couple of conferences with them. We've done some in the past as well, but we have an unconference coming up in November, I believe it is, which is kind of a unique approach to bringing people together. So lots happening in that realm. We have a grant. The intermediate units across Pennsylvania have been held responsible for offering out a mini grant for career readiness. This is with the Workforce Investment Boards, Labor and Industry. They've given the IUs a pot of money to distribute. So our IU is actually a regional lead. There are 9 regions within the state, and we're leading the southwestern PA region, which is Region 7. we're taking care of the processing of the grant, and we're actually reading the grant proposals tomorrow with some of our friends from WIU. But there's about $30,000 up for grabs in our region that will be granting out based on their proposals. So excited about that, and I think that'll have some impact on some of the career programs that are going on in our districts. So we'll be announcing those September 5th.
5th, yeah, September 5th.
Yeah, so that's coming up soon. Big development here, and this involves just about everybody who works for the IU in some way. We, this past summer, upgraded our course registration tool. It's now called Frontline. But as a part of that, we've also built in another component for professional growth. And the way this works is that you can actually track all of your professional development workshops and anything that you register for in our site. It all gets tracked, and you can go back and look at your history and what you've taken and what you've done. But the more exciting part of this is that as a part of this whole program, we have built a library of close to 1,000 courses that are available for any staff member to take. There are courses that are appropriate for support staff, for teachers, for you name it. It's really, it runs the gamut. Those courses are in the system, and we're getting it up and running. I'm going to say that probably within the month of September, we'll be sending out an invite to each individual member to log into that system, and you can go in and search the catalog, find something interesting. You can take that course for Act 48 credit or for anything else that's needed. If there's a certification like the suicide awareness training that we have to do, that's actually in that system as well. So very diverse selection of courses, opportunities there for everybody to take advantage of it, and it does not cost anything to take a course in that system for anybody who jumps in to take one. You know, you take as many as you want. It's all online. It's all you take it on your own time, at your own pace, and there's no rush. No, you can take as long as you need to go through them throughout the year. Pretty exciting stuff there.
So, and you're going to be Working with Dr. Shulo and his staff, and what offerings that can be taken by, from speech language to teachers over at Clairview, and hopefully in the future working with our districts and what offerings that we can give to them as well. So pretty exciting to see all the different opportunities.
It's actually part of a larger initiative that Curriculum Division is focused on, and that's personalized professional development. And we're really trying to move away from doing just large-scale workshops where it's a one-size-fits-all approach, and trying to build systems that can accommodate anybody and everybody and give them the choice they need to take the professional development they want. So we're looking at not only Frontline in this, but some other tools along the way that I think we'll see as this year moves on. You'll see those things developing. We're piloting a program with Bell Vernon this year with their first and second grade teachers to do professional development, and we're trying to integrate this approach into that as well. So lots of different tangents here that all focus in on that personalized learning approach. Last but not least, our BARC initiative continues to move forward and has had some exciting developments. Probably the biggest thing is that we began a conversation earlier this summer with the Center for Health Promotion and Disease Prevention out of Johnstown, who works alongside Highmark to do programs that benefit the region. And Highmark funds them on a regular basis to do work in different areas. One of those areas is in the area of bullying prevention in schools. And BARC is a large component of bullying prevention practices. So there's a great fit here. Through our conversations, we've been able to move that concept forward, and things are looking very positive that we'll be able to collaborate with them this upcoming year to do a pilot program in 3 of our schools that will bring Bark to families of students who are just entering that mobile device age. So very excited about that and looking for some good things to come of it. Mainly some really good research that will come out of it, giving us some good numbers to pass along to people how Bark works.
How about the parent night? You got to mention the parent night?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So one of the things that we felt we needed to do is get parents a little more connected to what Bark is, what it's all about. So we built a workshop for parents that is going to be offered October 10th right here. And it's called Managing Your Child's Mobile Device. The workshop will be specifically for parents to come in and learn about the practices to make the device safe, first of all, for their students. Some things like technology contract between you and your child. And then looking also at Bark, of course, as a tool to help manage the communications that go on in that system. So we opened up registration yesterday for it, and as of right now, we're about 24 hours into it, we've got 35 people signed up already.
That's awesome.
So it's moving fast, and we're excited about that. Who knows, maybe we'll just schedule a second night.
Maybe. And that's going to be, I'm going to send this out to everyone at the IU and ask them to share it with at least one family they know that has a child that has a phone.
Right.
So just to kind of get it, beyond us and get it out there among the masses.
This is for people who, maybe they're thinking about getting the phone for their child, the first device that they'll have, or it may be that parent is frustrated with how their older child is handling that situation, or they don't know how to handle it with their child. So a lot of information and a lot of resources will be shared that evening with parents.
All right.
And that's it for me.
Thank you very much, Tim. Really appreciate it. So Dr. Shulo, you're ready to give us some information about student services.
Yeah, so Student Services started to welcome back staff on the 21st for a series of trainings, orientations, and opening meetings. The message during those opening meetings to support the IU-wide goals is that the Student Services Division is going to work on 4 initiatives this year. One is to draft Gold Star IEPs. Another is to provide training opportunities to all education professionals in the county, to successfully market student services programs and services, and to effectively monitor the programs and services that we do. Over the summer, the Student Services leadership team spent a lot of time thinking about what programs and services that we can work to develop in the future. We also spent some time talking with some of our member districts about services that they would like us to provide or consider providing. And at the opening meeting, I presented to our staff that if they had any ideas for services and programs that we could provide, to let me know. So I'm going to ask again to anybody in the IU if there are student services programs that you think we could explore and develop more. I would love to hear them so that we can start to develop them as a division and see if we can provide more and different services to our constituents. Lastly, for me, I'm short today because I've spent days talking to everybody.
Yeah,
Lastly, for
Understood.
me, we did expand our education consultant positions this fall, which is kind of a new face to our TAC team. So we are opening the year with 4 education consultants whose primary goal are to train and support teachers. And I bring that up to this group because it is my expectation that we see those consultants in our classrooms and our programs on a weekly basis. So there are some names and faces that you'll see regularly to help support what we're doing to reach our goals to try to obtain the IU goals.
Excellent. All right. Very well done. And you had 2 great opening days, last week and then today with EI. So thanks for leading that effort there. Unfortunately, Mr. Vaughn wasn't able to make it today, and so he asked that I share just a few items with the group. First, construction updates. Generator installed at Clairview's complete, awaiting final testing, so they still have to test it. As I mentioned, construction on the entryway has begun, as well as the roof prep. So you may have heard some banging up on the roof, and that's for them to get ready for then the HVAC and then the roof materials to go on. Phone system upgrades you may have noticed since coming back from the summer. We now have voicemail to email functionality, which is absolutely wonderful. So anytime you get a voicemail, it's going to go right into your email, and then you can listen to that message anywhere that you have email access, so you never have to be at your phone to get your voice messages. And then, of course, we've been working very hard and diligent on all of the relocations of staff due to reassignments and things like that. So thanks, Mr. Vaughn. I appreciate you sending that update. Mrs. Liu, unfortunately, was not able to attend either today. They are in the midst of getting ready for our audit that's coming up next week. And so that's always a very stressful time in the financial services division when it comes to audit time. So that officially kicks off next week. And so her and Rod right now are working on that to make sure that we're ready. And also we have some PDE required e-grants that have to be completed and submitted by the end of business Friday. So they are currently working on that diligently. All right, so that's all of the division updates. That's my updates. What questions do we have from those in attendance that you might have? Any questions? Okay. Question back there. When's our next quarterly meeting? Our next quarterly meeting is going to be, let me look it up here real quick, is Wednesday, December 6th. So Wednesday, December 6th is our next opening, or our next quarterly meeting. Let me see if there's any questions via the Zoom. So feel free for those who are watching from their desks or their workout areas at home. I'm not seeing any questions there. Okay. All right. So one last call for questions. Going once, going twice. I want to thank Mr. Gavin Dunlap for helping set up today's video, and he's going to be the one who's then going to take this video and then is going to upload it to our Ustream channel that you can access all of our quarterly events so you can see how we've changed over the years every quarter. So this is the latest edition of that. All right. Thanks, everyone. I hope you found this very informative and worthwhile of your time. So thanks again, and everyone, you stay classy, WIU. We're out. That's from Anchorman. You got it? You got it. Some people don't get that.